In this lesson, we're going to learn how to shade Venn diagrams. Now, there are numerous approaches to doing these problems, and one of which would entail thinking about the example given to you and trying to figure out in your head, which regions we're talking about. But the way that I'm going to show you, I think, is a much, much easier approach to doing these problems. And essentially, the idea of what we're going to do is we're going to label the different regions in our Venn diagram. And I think the best way to approach this is just to look at an example. So let's take a look at this following example. We have A prime union B prime. So here's the idea. We want to take our Venn diagram. We're going to draw a rectangle around it so that we have a universe. And what we're going to do is we're going to label all the different regions that we see. And if we look at a Venn diagram containing two circles, we see that there are always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 different regions in this picture. So here's the idea behind what we're going to do. If this is circle A and this is circle B, we are going to imagine that the regions that we've labeled are actually elements within each of those circles. So when we look at A prime, the first thing that we're going to have here is 2 and 3, because that's A. So it's going to be 2, 3 prime. And what is outside of 2 and 3 but still in the universe would be the regions 1 and 4. So that's going to be our A prime. Now, once we have that, we need to take the union, and maybe I'll put parentheses around it to keep it together. We need to take the union of that with B. Well, if I look at my Venn diagram over here, I see that B consists of the two regions 3 and 4. So far what I've done is I've translated A prime, which is 1 and 4, and B, which is 3 and 4. Now I have the union between them, and we know that when you have a union, you have to take the combination of everything in those regions. And so this part in the middle becomes 1, 3, and 4, but we still have our prime on the outside, so we're not done. So again, if I go back and I look at my diagram and I see that I have the regions 1, 2, 3, and 4, the only thing that is in the universe that is not listed in the set I have here is 2. And so what that tells me is that A prime union B parentheses prime is exactly this region here, which is 2, and that example is done. Okay, let's look at another example. This time we are looking at a Venn diagram or an example that has 3 different sets, A, B, and C. And so the first thing we're going to do again is we're going to label all of the regions that we see. Now in a Venn diagram with 3 circles, we see that there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different regions that we need to concern ourselves with. And again, we're going to make sure that we know that this circle is A, this circle here is B, and this circle is C. So the first thing we're going to do is, as you would do with order of operations, is we're going to do what's in the parentheses first. So we have A intersect B, and we know that A this time is going to consist of the regions 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to write that down. And we're going to intersect that with B, and B consists of the regions 3, 4, 6, and 7. So once I have those two written down, I can look at their intersection, and I see that their intersection actually consists just of the regions 3 and 4. But we're not done, because now we need to do union with C prime. So again, in order to find C prime, and the truth is we can do this on the side if we want to, C prime is going to be everything that is outside of C, and C is made up of 4, 5, 7, and 8. So if we want to look at the prime of 4, 5, 7, and 8, we're going to end up with 1, 2, 3, and 6. And so when we have 3, 4, we're going to look at that together with 1, 2, 3, and 6, because that is now what C prime is. So again, we use our knowledge of union. Union is both sets put together. Remember, you do not have to list any repeated elements, so we don't have to list the 3 twice. And so our answer ultimately is the sets 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, or I should say the regions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. But we're not done. We need to go ahead now and we need to shade in our regions. So here is region 2, 3, 4, and 6. But let's not also forget that we have to shade in the entire region of number 1. So the only regions not colored in are 5, 7, and 8, and this example is done.